I'm sure it's not proper to wear a hat at an occasion like this. But Myles wouldn't recognize me without my Rolling Stones hat on. I've never quite understood how anybody can get up and speak at occasions like this. I probably knew Myles less time than 90% of you here, about 8 years or so. As many as you know, one of Myles's great passions was the Rolling Stones, and that's how we met. We and several other members of a Rolling Stones internet website called Shidooby are here today. It's the largest Rolling Stones internet website in the world. I don't know how many, there's a few if you want to raise your hands. There's about 5,000 members of Shidooby around the world, even though there's about several hundred on a regular basis, unless the Stones are on tour. In case you're wondering, the word Shidooby comes from one of their great songs called Shattered. Before virtually every concert in whatever city, Shidoobies would gather to party, renew old acquaintances, and just be with like-minded folks. And I met Myles at one of those before a concert in Las Vegas. That's where I've lived for the past 30 years. He told me he enjoyed reading the things that I wrote on Shidooby, so I thought, hey, this guy's okay in my book. We probably talked for a couple hours that night, and I remember going home that night and talking to my wife, and I said, I just met the nicest guy, and he said he's going to send me some stuff. And boy, did he ever. It wasn't too long after that that the first package arrived on my doorstep. T-shirts, coffee mugs, cookbooks, you know, and it never stopped. Other than a few phone calls, I think we saw each other 2 or 3 times after that before I got a call from Myles asking me to witness his marriage to Trish at the suite in the Bellagio Hotel. Of course, I said yes, and in talking with Trish the other day, she told me that that's what really sealed the deal between Myles and me, that he was honored. Now, to me, that's just backwards. You know, it was me that was honored to be asked to do that. But that's the way Myles thought. We saw each other at a few Stone shows after that and talked almost weekly on the phone. Living in opposite corners of the country is not exactly conducive to hanging out on a regular basis. But just this past September, I was able to finally get up here and visit for the first time, along with a mutual friend of ours, Bob Johnston, who's here today. And we had probably the most perfect weekend possible, weather-wise, food-wise, company-wise. We haven't stopped talking about it since. Eating at the diner, lobster dinner at the Henry compound, and seeing Myles in his habitat was something we had wanted to do for a long time. Of course, we stopped at the gift shop, and when I looked at that rack of shirts, I realized I own half of them already. And all sorts of other stuff, too. Thank goodness he didn't send me any of those fuzzy stuffed gerbils. What's up with that, anyway? Okay. The bottom line is that we made it here in September, and just in the nick of time. I can't imagine the void I would have in my life had I not gotten up to visit Myles when I did. Making the same trip so soon is certainly not something I planned on doing, but I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Rock and roll, Myles Henry. You truly rock my world.